Welcome to yet another exciting presentation. Today we'll be looking at government policy on small enterprises. To present, I am Tutor Maston. Under today's topic, we are going to look at the policy instruments supporting enterprise development. We'll look at the statutory obligations relating to enterprise development, and we'll also look at the external factors affecting small business enterprise. For small enterprises to develop, an enabling environment supported by the right legal framework is vital to stimulate sector growth. Therefore, entrepreneurs should take advantage of this enabling environment provided by governments to grow their businesses. So, as an entrepreneur, take time to learn what the government policy says in connection to the kind of business that you want to do. We turn our attention to policy instruments supporting enterprise development. The policy instruments supporting enterprise development are basically the industrial, trade, manufacturing, and the commercial policies. And the major policy objective for manufacturing sector is to achieve efficient and sustainable growth and development for the sector by focusing on value addition to the raw materials. Then the industrial policy aims at supporting and strengthening the potentially internationally competitive industries that emerge on the basis of stronger internal linkages. So, as an entrepreneur, you need to know all these policy instruments because it's through knowledge of these policy instruments that you'll be able to help your business to grow. Without the knowledge of these policies, it will be difficult for you to run your business. We turn our attention to the statutory obligations relating to enterprise development. We've seen that it's the government's obligation to support and develop the small enterprise sector. But now we realize that an entrepreneur also has got obligations that he needs to fulfill in order for the business to flourish. Below are some of the laws and the regulations that need to be complied to by businesses. We have the examples: the Income Tax Act, the Companies Act, the Trade Licensing Act, the Employment Act, the Factory Act, bylaws, the Industrial Relations Act, and many more. For example, the Income Tax Act stipulates that a business needs to pay tax on both incomes and the profits. The Companies Act talks about the registration of the company names. It stipulates the submission of annual returns and so on. So all these acts, they have got something to say on entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship need to learn, they need to know what is contained in these government policies. We turn our attention to external factors affecting small business enterprises. We have internal and external factors that affect small businesses, but the internal factors are those factors that we are able to control. So an enterprise can control those factors to suit his business. But as for external factors, an entrepreneur has got no control over this. So it's either you adapt to those factors or you avoid them in order to achieve your goals. The various external factors that affect small business enterprises include but are not limited to the following: A, the economic and demographic factors; B, political and legal factors; C, religious factors; D, social cultural environment; E, infrastructural development; and F, the technological factors. And there are still many more. These are just a few. An example of economic factors could be let's say the economy cycle. The economy cycle is when the economy may be stagnant or in a recession. So in an economic recession, marginal enterprises may not be able to keep going because they don't have extra income. They just get what they are, just enough to keep the business running, but not more than that. There is also the inflation rate. The inflation, if it goes up, it also affects the business. There's gross domestic product and also the monetary policy. So the policies that the government put in place will also affect the businesses. We have no control over those policies. And then an example of religious policies, we have sorry, not religious policies, but religious practices and economic policies. An example is where people in the society, due to their religion, maybe don't eat pork or pork products. So in this case, as an entrepreneur, you cannot be trading in pork. Otherwise, you go out of business because the products won't be bought. So those are external factors. There is also infrastructure development. If your business needs certain infrastructure, and in that area where you want to do business, you find that kind of infrastructure that you need is not there, there's nothing you can do. You can't control. So you just have to adapt to go and do business elsewhere. This marks the end of today's presentation. Note that the subscription is free. Please subscribe and share.